Good morning. I am Dr. Anitha DB, Associate Professor, CSE Data Science Department, ATME College of Engineering, Mysuru. Now I am going to demonstrate the first experiment of data analytics with our lab. The statement of that first experiment is demonstrate the steps for the installation of R and RStudio and perform the following. So first one, assign different types of values to the variables and display the type of variable. Assign different types such as double, integer, logical, complex, character, and understand the difference between each data type. Second one, demonstrate arithmetic and logical operations with simple examples. Third one, demonstrate generation of sequences and creation of vectors. Next, demonstrate the creation of matrix. Then demonstrate the creation of matrices from the vectors using binding function like rbind on cbind function. Demonstrate the element extraction from vectors like using indexing concept, matrices and arrays. So the first one is assign different types of values to variables and display the type of the variables. So let us consider like integer, logical, complex, character, etc. and display the type of those variables. Now coming to the program, so it's the first part, assigning to the variables like C is equal to hello. So if you assign for the assignment statement, we can use either equal symbol or less than hyphen symbol. So if it is a character, as we know from like C programming or other programming, we have to use the double quote or a single quote. Look, hello R is the value and we are assigning this character value to the variable C. Then double. So D is equal to 3.14159. Then integer. I is equal to 42. Logical. So logical values are true and false. So here I am assigning one of the logical value true to L. Then complex 3 plus 2I. So this is the first part, that is assigning different types of values to the variables. Now display the type of those variables. So here we have declared C, D, I, L and C and P. So these are the variables. Now display the type of the variable. So in order to display the type of the variable, we can use the type of function. So in C there is a function called as, in R programming, there is a function called as type of. For this type of, if we pass any variable, so it will display the type of that corresponding variable. So here cat D is the type of, or D is of type, just it is just the comment. So D is of type of D. Similarly, we can write the same thing for I, L and C, M, P and C. So if you run this code, just I will show the first part. So first run the first part, like assigning to the variables, like run. So while running in the below window, that is in the console window, we are getting the same statements. So now I am executing the next statement, display the variable types. So that first one, D is of type double. Then I is of type double. Then L is of type logical. CMP is of type complex. And C is of type character. And so that is the first part. Then second part is we need to do some arithmetic operation and logical operations. Like arithmetic operation is addition, multiplication and division. Then logical operations like AND, OR, like AND, there is a double AND symbol, or then NOT. So do the arithmetic and logical operation at the same time, display the output of arithmetic and logical operation. So initially we have created D and I and all. Now just we are adding or performing the arithmetic operation on D and I. So D into I, then D divided by I. So in the console window, if you observe, these are the outputs. So the output we will get in the console window. Then logical operations. Here I am doing the logical operation of L. So L is a logical, that is a variable. We have the value assigned for L is true. So true and true. So we will get the result as true. Then true or false. So you will get the result as true. Then not, apply the not function on L. So initially L is true. So not of true is false. If you observe the output in the console, so we are getting false for this statement. So next question is generate a sequence of integer from 1 to 10. So we can use a colon symbol to generate a sequence of integer like 1 to 10. So SV is equal to 1 to 10. So it will generate a sequence of numbers or integer numbers from 1 to 10. Then create a vector. So for creating vector we use like C function. C, and inside the parenthesis we can give any number of values. So it will create a vector using these numbers. So V is equal to C of 5, 10, 15, 20 and 25. So then display those values like a sequence of vectors and the vector using a C function. So sequence of integer, see the console window 1, 2, 3 up to 10. Then vector which is created by using a C function, that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. This is not in a sequence. So this is which we have given in the list, like C list of numbers. So the next one is create a matrix. So for creating matrix there is a function in R programming, that is matrix itself. So matrix of 1 to 12, that is use the numbers from 1 to 12 and arrange it in n row and n columns. Here I have given n row is equal to 3 and n column is equal to 4. So 3, 4. So 3 cross 4 is 12. So we need to pass 12 numbers. So 1 to 12, using that 1 to 12 it will create a matrix. So it will create a matrix. So instead of cat, if you give like print of m and now execute this. So now we are getting the values in terms of matrix, that is 3 rows and 4 columns. The next question is create different vectors like v1, v2, v3, and using these vectors we can also create a matrix. So here v1 is 1, 2, 3, v2 is 4, 5, 6, v3 is 7, 8, 9. Now bind vector into a matrix. So there are two types of binding function, rbind and cbind. Rbind, as the name itself indicates, it will bind row wise, and cbind it will bind column wise. So we are creating a matrix using vectors and also that function rbind. So here instead of cat, here we need to use in order to get the values in terms of matrix. So print mp. So we got that output. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8, 9. So rbind. So v1, v2, v3 are considered like row wise. v1 is row 1, v2 is row 2 and v3 is row 3. And if you use cbind, then v1 becomes column 1, v2 becomes column 2 and v3 becomes column 3. So the next part is extract the elements from the vectors. So we have already created vectors like mv and sv. So these are a single dimensional vectors. So we can use a square bracket to extract the elements. So while using that square bracket, we need to give the position of the element. So second element from MV, then fifth element from SV. Store it in some variables like E1 and E2. So E1 is MV of 2 and E2 is SV of 5. Then similarly extract elements from matrix. In order to extract the elements from matrix, we need to give two positions, that is row position and the column position. We have created two matrix, one is using matrix function and another one is using the R-bind. From both we can extract the elements and save it in E3 and E4. M of 2 comma 3, that is second row third column. MV of 1 comma 2 means first row and the second column. Then display E1, E2, E3 and E4 using this cat function. So the use of cat function, here we can use the comment for the corresponding output. So here E1 is the output. We can give the name for E1. So what is that? E1 element from my vector, E2 element from sequence vector, and E3 element from my matrix, and E4 is element from matrix from vectors. So then you can execute this, get the values like 4, E1 is 4, E2 is 5 and E3 is 8 and E4 is 2. So you can cross check like E4 is 2. What is E4? MV of 1 comma 2. What is MV of 1 comma 2? That is R bind function. Just go back to that matrix. MV of 1 comma 2, that is the first row and the second column. E4 sorry okay, just check the position like 1 comma 2, 1 comma 2, that is the value is 2, 1 comma 2, the value is 2, that is the first row and the second column, that is the value is equal to 2. So like this, for vector we can use a single position, for matrix we can use two position, one indicates row and another one indicates the column. First value indicates row position and second value indicates the column position. Thank you.